Ever since Netflix dropped the final episodes of Squid Game Season 3, fans have been buzzing about the shocking scene at the end that shows a mysterious recruiter playing Dokji in Los Angeles. That little moment sparked a wildfire of rumors online. Could this really be a sign that Netflix is secretly working on an American Squid Game spinoff? While the show's creator quickly stepped in to say it wasn't confirmation, the possibility still feels very real. And if it does happen, the biggest question is, what games would they use? The original Korean Squid Game cleverly turned classic childhood games into deadly challenges. The American version would need to do the same, but with games that American kids grew up playing. From playground favorites to nostalgic 90s fads, there's a lot to choose from. And if Netflix wants to make it thrilling, shocking, and totally binge-worthy, here are 9 American kids games that would be perfectly brutal for a deadly survival competition. First up is Pogs, also known as milk caps. In the 90s, these little cardboard discs were everywhere. The goal was to slam down a heavy slammer disc onto a stack of Pogs and try to flip them over. The ones you flipped, you kept. It's a simple 2-player game that looks easy but actually requires a bit of strategy. If the American recruiter had played this instead of Dokji, it would have made way more sense. It's more culturally relevant and would bring a nostalgic twist to the start of the deadly competition. Plus, with the resurgence of 90s trends, it would click with viewers right away. And let's be honest, if the loser got knocked out literally, the tension would skyrocket. Then there's Hopscotch, a sidewalk classic that's all about hopping between squares on 1 or 2 feet. In an American Squid Game, it could easily replace the iconic glass bridge. Imagine giant hopscotch tiles suspended hundreds of feet in the air, with some squares crumbling or exploding if you land on the wrong one. Players would need speed, balance, and pure guts. It could be timed too, forcing players to move fast before the tiles drop or vanish. Not only would this make the VIPs watching cackle in delight, it would create an unforgettable visual for viewers at home. Another perfect choice is Capture the Flag. This game is all about teamwork, sneaking around, and strategy. In Squid Game style, it could be turned into a brutal battlefield. Players could be given knives to defend their side or attack the enemy. Or even worse, the losing team could be wiped out entirely, making every move a life or death decision. Just like how betrayal and shifting alliances made the original show intense, Capture the Flag would bring that same chaos and backstabbing energy. Simon Says might seem harmless at first, but that's exactly what would make it so terrifying. Just like the Korean version's red light, green light with the creepy doll, Simon Says could have its own robotic overlord giving commands. Mess up a move? You're out. And by out, we mean dead. The tension would build with every instruction. Maybe the game starts simple. Touch your nose, clap your hands, but quickly turns twisted. Fight another player, hold a plank for 5 minutes, or balance on one foot at the edge of a cliff. Suddenly, a game you played in kindergarten becomes a heart-pounding nightmare. Another intense option is dodgeball. Everyone remembers gym class wars where the rubber balls felt like missiles. In the American Squid Game, dodgeball could get a terrifying makeover. Imagine players being hit by balls that explode, knock them off platforms, or trigger traps. No second chances. No mercy. And unlike traditional dodgeball, there wouldn't be a jail to return from. Once you're hit, you're gone. Watching players duck, dive, and fight to survive in a deadly arena would be edge-of-your-seat material. Then there's the chaotic fun of The Floor is Lava. It's a game every American kid has played at some point, leaping from couch to table pretending the ground is lava. Netflix even turned it into a game show, but the Squid Game version would be a nightmare. Real lava might be a bit much, but red-hot pits, boiling water, or deadly falls could all work. Players would have to leap from unstable furniture suspended in the air, some of it collapsing beneath their feet. It combines the risk of the glass bridge with the imagination of childhood, and the result would be terrifyingly fun to watch. For a game that's all about quick thinking and deception, Foursquare could be a clever twist. In this playground game, players bounce a ball between squares, trying to eliminate each other by breaking the rules. In Squid Game, they could secretly divide players into groups of 4, without telling them what the game is. Then, once they realize the game guarantees one player will lose per group, chaos erupts. Friends would be forced to turn on each other, and alliances would crumble. It would be a quiet, cruel way to thin the herd, and stir up tons of drama. Then there's chess. Now that might sound boring for a show built on fast-paced death games, But what if the pieces were real people? There's even a theory that Squid Game Season 3 hinted at a giant chess match with human players. The American version could finally make that happen. Imagine two players acting as team captains, moving real people across a life-size board. Every piece taken means that player dies. If VIPs are watching, they could even be the ones calling the shots, turning players into literal pawns in their sick game. Finally, there's the question of what the final game should be. In the Korean version, the brutal and symbolic Squid Game itself was the last challenge. But that game isn't known in the US. So what's the American equivalent? That would be King of the Hill. This rough and tumble game is all about climbing to the top of a hill and knocking everyone else down. There are no rules, just pure survival. Players would punch, kick, shove, and claw their way to the top. The final moments of the show could turn into a gritty fight to the death, with one person standing victorious at the summit, while the others lie broken below. An American Squid Game could bring a fresh twist to the franchise while keeping the same soul-crushing, nerve-wracking feel that made the original so addictive. By tapping into classic childhood games that American viewers remember, the show could mix nostalgia with horror in a way that feels uniquely twisted. With every dodgeball thrown, every command shouted by Simon, and every player leaping to escape the lava, the audience would be glued to their screens. Whether it ever gets officially confirmed or not, just imagining these deadly childhood games is both exciting and terrifying. And let's be honest, we'd all watch it.